Hey everybody. Oh good, I can see. Hey Margaret, how are you? I just wanted to see if my comments were working, and they are tonight. How exciting. I switched computers hoping that my newer computer is faster, so let's see what happens. I'm really excited because we're going to be using these cute little Party Puffins. It's going to be a new release. Hey Debbie, happy Thursday honey, welcome. It's a new release with the new catalog, and I think I've showed the cover of the new annual catalog that will be coming out on Tuesday. And I'm using this really cute Party Puffins stamp set. I'm also using one of the new in colors, the ribbon, the paper, and what else did I grab? Oh, the new jewels, which are really pretty and shiny. And I'm also going to use the stamp pad in the pale papaya. And I'm using, hey Dew, how are you? Hi Peggy. I'm also going to be using a piece of 12 by 12 paper that is actually called Pattern Party. And this is only available, and there's 48 sheets, which is really exciting. But this will be available for anyone who hosts a party. Hi, Karen. Oh, good. I'm so glad you got it. Very good. So, before I get started, I just want to remind everybody that I do have a Patreon class that I teach coloring with the Stampin' Blends, pencils, and Copic markers. As you can see, this month we worked on this stamp set, which is discontinued, but I liked this image because it really gives you a chance to learn how to color with these big spaces. Once you get the big space down, it's easier to color in smaller spaces. So for the month of May, we'll be finishing off the little flower heads. So if you'd like to join us for $3 a month, you get 3 videos, one in Copics, one in pencils, and one in blends. So let's get started. If you hear a hum, hey Sonia, how are you honey? If you hear a hum in the background, yeah, sometimes there is no share button. I think if you share it after, sometimes it shares, sometimes it doesn't. Crazy, but that's the way Facebook is. If you hear a hum in the background, it's my fan. We went from cold weather and had the heat on last week, where today I'm getting ready to put my air conditioners on. So go figure. So it's a little warm in here tonight, and I actually have the fan going in the background. So what I decided to do tonight is create this cute little box, and I actually put a magnet in to hold it closed, and I hid it under this cute little cake. And it would be a perfect gift. It would be perfect if we ever get to do craft fairs again, because there's a spot where you can put your greeting cards, and then there's a spot that you could add little gift tags. I don't know about you, but I have all my cards in one box. Thanks, Karen. And they're all over the place. So I thought this would be great for birthdays. Fill it with birthday cards, and then you have your tags and your cards with your envelopes all in one place, and it'll store very nicely on a shelf. So for this little box, this is the card I created. The images are from the stamp set, So it's just a cute little card, and I stamped the candles on the inside. When it comes to stamping these little guys, I would suggest using a stamping platform, whether you have a Stamparatus or a Misty, because I don't know if you can notice, but right here there are a few white spots. It did happen to this little guy too when I stamped him, and all I did was took my basic black Stampin' Right marker and I filled him in so he would be solid. So I guess I'll show you. Like I said, if you can see that white spot, if you take your Stampin' Right marker and just color that in, it may be a little darker, but you can just add it around, make it look like it's a shadow, and it's underneath his arm. So it just gives him a little bit more character. You could do it even around his face, so it looks like his neck is there. Okay, but I would suggest a Stamparatus. So before we get to the box, let's make the card first. And we have a standard card base, and as you can see, maybe not, I forgot to score it. Craziness. Like I said, I was trying to get those air conditioners together today. Can't believe how warm it is. So it's the standard base, and all my layers are 1/8 of an inch difference, and we're just going to layer that up. Excuse me. I know you like penguins, but actually these are puffins, but they look just like little, I guess they're part of the penguin family. I don't even know, but I just fell in love. I'm just grabbing another glue. I just fell in love with these little guys. I think they're so cute. I just wanted to play with them today. I don't know if anybody has seen, but I do have, just can't talk and try to fix this on the front of the card at the same time. Can't chew gum. I do have a new class to go on my blog, and again, this is the Pansy Petals set. This too will be released with the new catalog. These pansies, although there are lots of little dies to create these pansies, they are pretty fun. And I have this fun fold card. Nice, lots of layers. And like I said, they're available in a few different options. You can get it with the stamp set, without the stamp set, just the PDF. And for the month of May, if you would like to become a demonstrator, instead of $125 worth of product for $99, you'll get $155 worth of product. And I will also be throwing in, I do Stampin' Up blog designs, and I will throw in your blog design, which is a $200 value, absolutely free. So you can't go wrong. Okay, so then I used, again, another new, and I have to grab it. No, actually this one is not the new one. This is from the Stitch So Sweetly die set. And I added an extra layer. My glue is really running out here. I'll have the all the dimensions on my blog in the morning. I'm hoping to get it done before noon. Okay, so we're just going to layer that together. Your brother did your what, Peggy? Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, they were fun. They were really fun. Okay, so we have our card base, our Stitch So Sweetly. We're going to grab a piece of white paper, and I did not pull out my Stamparatus, so we're just going to go for broke here. Let's see where our little guy is. He's so cute. And I'm using Memento. And we're just going to make sure that this little guy is inked up really good. Take a look. And I see a piece of hair. Hold on one second. Must be a piece of Iggy hair. Nope, didn't get it. How annoying. Alright, let me do it this way. I'll just wipe it off and do it again. Okay, I think I got it off that time. Okay, so we're just going to ink this up. And you can see that it looks like it's pretty inked. And we're just going to give them a good stamp. Making sure he's stamped really well. And that one didn't turn out too bad. And to save time, so you wouldn't have to watch me fussy cut, I actually did stamp him. And I actually like the one I stamped tonight better. But that's okay. So let's just give him a little bit of color. I'm just going to grab my blends. And I wanted his beak to be different colors. So what I'm going to do is take the light real red, and I'm doing the front portion of his beak. Just giving it a good color. And then I am taking the dark mango medley, and I'm going to color right over top of that red. So it looks a little bit more orangey. And then we're going to grab the dark pumpkin pie. And if you notice, I like using the nibs. Oh, are you supposed to get bad weather, Karen? I checked our weather, and it looks like we're going to be heading into the 70s and 80s. So we'll see. I like to use the nib. And the reason being is you have a little bit more control over the color. You have less of a chance of bleed when you use this part. So I'm just doing the ends, leaving a little bit of white in the middle. And then I grab some light mango medley. Let me just check. Yep. And I'm just going to fill in the center, giving it a really good cover. So as this dries, all the colors will blend together a little bit better. Make sure if you're doing it on a table, you always put something underneath, because as you can see, it bleeds. Nah, it's really hot. Oh, it was really warm? Yeah, it's really horribly warm today. I don't know what happened. Okay, so we're going to do his feet, and I'm just going to get right under his top of his leg and make that dark. Just pulling it down a little bit. And then I'm going to do with the So Saffron. We're just going to color in the rest of his feet. So it is a little bit two-toned. And then trying to add a little bit more dimension Let's see what I did with my pen. I grabbed the light gray granite and just added a little bit of shadow right there under his belly, and right here, because this leg is further back, just like that, just to give him a little bit more dimension. He's so cute, isn't he? Okay, let's see. Then I used another basic white and the Stitch So Sweetly, and for this layer I'm actually going to stamp the birthday cake, and I'm using the pale papaya, and it is just a cute little cake. And we're gonna stand up, see if I can get this on here straight. See how it's okay. It's a little bit sideways, and we're just gonna give that a good stamp. It's a really nice color. I really do like this color. And we're going to give this a quick coloring. And I'm going to use the dark and light Calypso Coral. And again, a cake is round, so you know that the sides of the cake are going to be darker than the middle of the cake, because the light's going to hit down the center, and it's going to cast a shadow under the icing. We'll do that to the bottom also. Add some darkness to the edges, because that's where the shadow would be. Grab the light Calypso, and we're going to go over the edge of that line and leave a little bit of white in the center. It's funny because these blends, they don't blend as well on the basic white as they did on the other white one we had, and it just slipped my mind. Okay, so now I'm grabbing the dark petal pink. Now, where dark petal pink is a very light color, hey Kathy, how are ya? It will, there's a lot of alcohol in it, more alcohol than the dark markers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the dark color, and then I'm going to color in the whole area. Go over the dark. I think I'm running out of ink in my pink one. Okay, just going over the whole thing. Then I'm going to go back again to the light Calypso Coral, and this time I'm going to use the brush because I just want to do a quick wash. I don't want to really color too much. I just want to fill in. So where the Calypso Coral is on the back, it just adds a little bit of darkness. I'm just going to extend this a little bit. I'm just doing little lines for this. Okay. Now for the candles, I'm just going to color them in with the light So Saffron. Just like that. I'm going to grab the light Mango Medley. I'm just going to add it right to the center. And I'm going to take the Calypso Coral, the same color as the cake, and I'm just going to color in the candles. On this card, you'll notice I took Bermuda Bay and just put teeny little dots in the icing so it looks a little like sprinkles. I could have used the Stampin' Right marker to make them a little bit smaller, but I figured that was cute. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella right over top to give it a little shine. And we're going to leave it at that. So I don't know if you can see the shine, but it's there. And then we're going to take our little puffin and we're going to pop him up. And I'm going to just grab an old pair of scissors here. If you use up all your Stampin' Dimensionals, make sure you save the ends. There's lots of dimensionals on the edge of these papers. Definitely don't want to waste them. Okay, so we're going to just put this little guy like he's kicking this cake. Little stinker. Gonna just, I think I have a little piece of glue right there. Okay. And then we're going to grab our card and we're going to pop up this piece too. I'm going to grab some new dimensionals. Nope, not the little ones. Got lots of little ones from, I save all my dimensionals out of my paper pumpkin and they add up. I have so many. Okay, so let's center this onto the center of the card. Make sure it's centered. And just pop it right up like that. And then we're going to pop up our little birthday cake. So we have a lot of dimension on this card. I love my layers. Yeah, that's true. Yes, the glue eraser is great, isn't it, Karen? I don't know what I ever did without it. I mean, it's perfect. It's just a crazy little eraser. But if you're like me and you use glue a lot, by the time you're done with your project, you have glue on quite a number of things. And that little eraser really takes that glue off. It's amazing. Okay, so we're just going to grab a couple of these cool little embellishments. And I'm just going to stick one there on that corner. And look at that. I had ink on my finger. And we'll stick one. We'll do this one right here. Okay. Let's tie a bow. I just want to make sure. Let me just wipe my hands. Whoops. Before I tie this bow. Just in case. Okay. So this is the new in color ribbon. I'll be sending out the ribbon and paper shares actually next week, probably on Wednesday. You're gonna love all the new in colors. They're so pretty. They all go together so well. Okay, let's get in there. Thanks, Karen. I try. I just love what I do. And I think that's what makes it so easy. Believe me, though, there are some days where I can't even draw a straight line or put a piece of paper on the card without it being crooked. Look how warm it is in here. My glue dot is melted. That's how warm it is. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy. Okay, so let's cut these little tails. Like I said, some days I can't even get a layer on straight, so, but that's okay. All right, now for the inside, again, I think this is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, 5 1/4 by 4. Those are usually my layers for the inside. And we're just going to pull these birthday candles. I'm going to take this out so I don't ruin this paper. I'm just going to pull the candles from the birthday cake. And it's a cute little candle stamp. And I am just going to add these, going back and forth in each direction to the side of the card. Adhere this to my inside layer. I thought that was a lump of glue. Just don't want it showing through. And then we're just going to add this to the inside of the card. Quick and easy, 2 little stamps. If you wanted, and I guess I could have, and I didn't even think of it, could have added a happy birthday right here in the corner, in the center of the card, but I didn't. I left him blank. So there's the 2 cards. I hope you like them. They're just so cute. So I'm just going to put these aside so they're ready. And let's look at the tags. I made the tags very simple. And again, it's a new set that's coming out. You can see I didn't even clean out the little spots yet. But it is a tag set with a variety of different sizes. I'm actually waiting on my magnet sheets so I can set up all my new dies. But they create the perfect tag. And you'll see that they have these page savers. So when you add your ribbon, you don't pull, like when you pull on your ribbon, it just gives it a little bit extra security. And like I said, I didn't go crazy fancy. I made pretty well straightforward tags. This is Calypso Coral. And then I just cut a tag with the paper, and I'll add a sentiment. And then this one I used the new designer series paper that's going to be in the new catalog, which is in the pale papaya, and then the small little tag. Now if I can grab a hold of them, naturally I have a little box here that I have all my supplies in, so trying to be a little bit more efficient and together. But here's the little page savers, and they're perfect. So let's just put these together. We're going to do them just a quick and easy little tag, and then we'll get to that box. The star of the show. So I'm just going to leave that like that. I'm actually going to add the little page saver, and I'm on, okay, I'm just going to lift it up and just give it a minute. Make sure it's on there even. Okay. And then we're just going to stamp from all of us. And I'm stamping it in Memento. And I'm just going to line this up, hoping this little stamp actually is a little bit more forgiving, because you'll notice that the words are up and down. And I think there's a little piece of hair on there too. That's my eggs. Okay, for this one I'm going to use the round page saver and stick that on. I'm just going to give that a few seconds to dry, and we'll jump over to this one. And I actually grabbed one of the other little puffins, and we'll give him a little stamp right in the center. So you can see this is a perfect example. I didn't press down hard enough. He did not fill in completely. So if I had used the Stamparatus, I could have re-stamped him. And let's grab a different stamp to fill in that bottom. And we'll use You're the Best. Let's get rid of the birthday candles. These are great stamps because the font is not in good lines, so it's pretty forgiving. Okay, and then let's just color up his little beak a little bit. We won't be fancy because it's not on white, so we'll just give him a little color. And let's just glue him to this tag. Now you'll notice on this tag, and I should have done the bottom corners, but the corners, I took the corner off, and all I did was use my little round punch and clipped the corners, just, you know, brought it in a little bit and just clipped off a little piece. And again, if you don't have a corner rounder and you have a round punch, you can take your paper and just fold it a little bit, get it into that opening, and punch, and you'll get rounded corners. So you don't need a fancy corner rounder. You just have to use a circle punch that you have. Okay, so we'll just add this. Let that stick, and we'll go back, grab our ribbon, now I'm just going to grab a length of ribbon. So the front of the ribbon has a nice little, you know, see this side looks a little messy. This side you got that little piece that runs across. You do that by going in from the front, and we just have to fold this over. This is actually nice ribbon for the tags because it's very, very pliable. Naturally, this hole will be a little easier, but if you go in from the front of the tag, and then put your little tails through the loop and pull, you get that nice little finish in the front. So now we have these two. We got this little guy. Let's add a little piece of ribbon to him. Again, you just have to give it a little curl. Oh, you're welcome, Margaret. You texted me, but it never went through. Well, I guess I didn't see it. And I don't think I have my phone in here right now anyway. I ended up turning off all the internet on all my devices, even my phone, hoping that tonight my comments would work. So far, so good, I guess. Okay, so then we have this little guy, and this is the one I did make from before. And on this one, I think, let's just grab that happy birthday. And I think I already have it out. At least I thought I had it out. Nope, here it is right here. I think the happy birthday will fit. We'll give it a shot. Yeah, I think. And again, this is another one. The word is a little wonky. I'm just going to give it a quick stamp. Nope, didn't work. Okay, we're going to... I don't have another one. Let's see. Let's cheat. Okay, not bad for a little cheat. And we'll get a little page saver in the pale papaya. I mean, when it comes to your tags, you can get as fancy as you want. I'll just put that on there. And we'll let that dry a minute. Okay. Now let's put these up so we can fill our box. And get these two tags together. Now the box I actually saw on Pinterest. I don't really go on Pinterest that much other than posting. And I saw this little box, and it was done for Christmas. And it was filled with Christmas cards and Christmas tags. So you can do it for every season. That's why I said it would be great for craft fairs. But it was very plain. So there, I fixed that happy birthday. How about that? So, of course, I had to add layers. So the base of this little box is 11 by 4 3/4. Then the front box, and this is the pale papaya, is 8 1/4 by 6 what did I see? By 6 1/4. Then the little tag box is 2 3/8 by 6 1/2. So there's 3 pieces. And then of course I wanted to add my layers because I wanted to use magnets. Then I added this little tag, oops, this little piece, so it looks like a little bit of a strap, but I rounded the corners. Just get the stamp set out of the way. And then I cut out the new tag, elegant tag. And if you were with me last week, you know that, that's too big. You can create any size tag that you like. I'm just grabbing a piece of paper so I can show you. It actually punches out this size, which that's what I did the little puffin on. But I wanted one that was a little longer. So if you cut your paper and then feed the end into your punch, it's a very narrow opening, and punch, and then decide how long you actually want your tag. Then you have to feed it in through the top, and this one's a little harder because there's 4 sections, and you push this in, make sure it's in there straight, and punch. You can create any size tag you want, and that's how I did it with the Calypso Coral. So that'll be pretty handy for different projects. I just want to see, here it is. And then I have, this layer is, look into this, here it is. My layer for my inside box. Okay, so let's get started. Let's put together this base. I want to make sure, okay, this little piece is for my, so we're just going to, very, very easy base. It has 2 score lines at 6 1/4 and 7 1/4. So this is the front flap, and I'm just going to grab my corner punch, and I'm just going to round the corners on the front of this for this one. And then, like I said, I did have my extra layers, so while I have this punch out, I'm just going to punch these just like that. Now, before I go any further, believe it or not, let's see where I am. The dollar store had these great little magnets, and I'm going to add this to the front of the card now, because I'm going to pop up the front layers, and I want to hide this magnet so we won't even see it once I pop these layers up. Okay, so we're just going to set that aside to dry. The inside box that we're going to store our cards in is scored on the long side, which is 8 1/4, at 3 3/4 and 4 1/2, and then on the short side it's scored at 3/4, and then what I did, it's off. We don't have 3/8 on 3/8 on our scoreboard, so I just turned it and scored it at 3/4 again on the other side. Just made it a little simpler. So we're just going to fold and burnish. Oh, this, yep, you're right, Dew. It's moved. So we're just going to fold and burnish. And then we're going to create our little box. Now for this one, what I did was I actually cut down each side of the little score bump, just like that, and then pulled these pieces and snip them off. Okay, that one didn't come off really good. There we go. And then we're going to do it on the this side. This way you don't need to angle and maybe make a mistake and angle a side and you shouldn't have angled. So if you cut that bump out, it gives you enough room to fold everything together and it'll come out straight. Now we have to remember we want to insert cards, so we also have to make sure we glue the tabs. But before we do that, let's add our layers. It'll be much easier. I did it again. I did this before too. Cut it just a little too wide for some reason. I'll give it a quick trim. That's better. It'll be much easier to layer this together with it flat, of course. So we're just going to, and I did it again. Look at that. I don't know why I did this. When I did the first card, the first box, I did exactly the same thing. Where was my head? Okay. So we don't have to worry about direction for this designer series paper. So now that we're going to put this on this layer already, we have to think a little bit more about this being the front. We don't want the seam to show. We want just a nice clean corner. So what we'll do is we will add our tear and tape to this side here, and then this way it will tell us that that has to go on the inside. So it'll be tucked in and we'll have a nice clean corner. So I'm going to just use my tear and tape. Let me cut that straight. Oh yeah, look at that. Look how straight I cut it. And I'm going to get it as close to that score line. Piece of Iggy hair. He's shedding so terribly. Okay. As close as we can to that score line. Grab my trusty little cutter. And we're going to do it on both sides. And then let's get this tab. This way we know that the tab is going to be glued down instead of worrying about glue drying. I'm going to put two little pieces so it really sticks. So those cards, when you put those cards in, they don't hang up on these tabs. So we are just going to pull this off. I guess I'll use my scissors. You saw my, do you see my pokey tool? So we're just going to pull the paper off. My pokey tool works so much better. And let's just see. We're going to attach it to the back end of the back piece. just like that. Make sure it's secured. Oh, here it is. See much better. But what's happening is it's pretty warm in here, and the tear and tape, just like my glue dots, are melting. Okay, so now let's get this box put together. So now we know this is going to go on to the inside of the box. So you want to make sure you fold and close these. And like I said, see, this is the seam. We don't want that in the front. So we have a nice clean edge on the front of this box, because that's the part we're going to see. And again, just line it up. Make sure it's nice and straight. The edges together. Okay, and there we go. That's the box that the cards will go in. Our magnet should be dry. We're just going to, I actually added glue. You can use tear and tape if you want, but if you use glue, just make sure you give it a good smear. And you're just going to line this up on this back piece, making sure it's pretty even. You can push it up against the table. Make sure it's flat on the bottom. Grab your bone folder and just give it a good squish. Tombow glue is really good, so okay, so there is your first little box. Now for the tag box, it's actually scored at 1/4 on each side, and then it's scored at 3 1/4, and then 3 1/2. So these are all 1/4 inch sections. So these little edges are going to be a little bit harder. So I actually did glue these. Well, actually, I can't tell a lie. I used my Stampin' Seal Plus. And I don't know what I did, but it started to roll up on itself, and I ruined a whole brand new Stampin' Seal. So I'll have to get another one. Oops, hair. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I'm just going to cut out these little bumps and get these little pieces so they're exposed. I know you're probably thinking, boy, doing those tabs and cutting it on an angle is a little easier. Yeah, actually it is. But I don't know, it just seems like I'm less likely to make a mistake and cut an angle on the wrong section, because I've done it before, and then you have a little angle that's showing and it shouldn't be. Okay, so we're just going to do the same thing. I am actually going to add the glue, and we're going to let this dry, and I'm going to let you in on a little trick. And I should have put the piece on. If you add glue to each side, the Tombow glue to each side that you're gluing, and you just let it set for a couple minutes, it gets sticky. And when you actually put it together, it acts as if you're using tear and tape. So if you don't have tear and tape, that is a good way to get a project that you need heavy duty gluing. Just glue both sections, let it set a little bit. I'm just making sure that tab is attached. Put glue on both sides and it actually sticks just like you were using tear and tape. Okay, so let's get this side glued, and I'm just using my bone folder to make sure that tab gets stuck to the side. And you'll notice that there is a little ridge. I'm actually going to just diagonally cut these corners just like that, so it looks like a little slot. And we're going to layer these pieces. I just like decorating everything, adding my layers. And then we're just going to add this to the little box. It actually goes this way. Okay, just going to make sure this is glued. Now you can see on this box, it does stick out a little bit. And then when you open it, it does hang over. So we just want to add glue to the bottom section of this box. And center it. Let's move it down just a hair. Make sure it's centered. That looks good. Make sure it is glued on. And you got to remember, we have a little bit of time with this glue, so it does have a tendency to move. So when you're gluing it down, just make sure it doesn't move around on you. Okay, so we'll let that dry. Give it a few seconds to dry. Let's grab our tag and let's get this little puffin here, wherever he is. The little guy. I think he'll fit. And let's get him stamped and colored up. I don't want to push him too hard, but I want to make sure the color is good. That's not too bad. That one's better. Okay, so here's our little guy. Let's just, again, we're going to color up his feet. Just like that. We'll color his beak. I'm going to add some red. And then color over the red. Change that color. And then I'm going to use the really light yellow to color that center and to fill in his feet. Okay. Then the next thing I did was I thought he looked too plain. So I grabbed my blending brush and the papaya, and I'm just going to add some color. And you can do these with the Stampin' Blend brushes too. But this was handy at the ready. So I'm just adding a little bit of color around the edges. And we're just going to glue him to this tag. And he'll be on the front, but we're going to let that dry for a minute. And while we're waiting, get rid of some of this garbage here. I'm going to grab this little piece, and we're going to stamp this birthday cake, because I didn't stamp a second one. I wanted to have something that I could cover up that other magnet. Let's see. And I think it's sticking on something. I put the magnet here and it attached itself to something. Oh well. I'll have to grab another one. It's here somewhere. That's the one thing with magnets, it sticks to everything. And we just make sure that the polarization is going to be right. Yep. Okay, so we're going to let that stay there so I don't lose that one too. And I'm just going to quick fussy cut this out, because this is what's going to hide that other magnet. You could put it underneath your designer series paper, like I'm going to do with the front piece. If you're going to make a book, you can put it between your papers, but actually these magnets that I purchased are just a little too thick. When you're making boxes and books, and you want to use magnets for your closures, they need to be really thin. And looking at these magnets, I think they're a little bit more, I think, than an eighth of an inch. So they're just a little too big to put under a layer of your paper. See, they're pretty big. Let's see. Maybe they are about an eighth of an inch. Okay, so we got the polarization right. We have to glue down our cake to this piece here. Want to make sure it hides it completely. And then we're just going to grab this little tag piece for the front. And I did not score it, so let me just check my scoring. Okay, we'll do it at 3 and 4. Because I just wanted to add like a little strap, just to add something a little different. So I'm going to score it at 3, and then I'm going to score it at 4. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other piece. And I have so many things on my desk I can't even pull my scoreboard on. Is everybody in this room a messy crafter? Oh, yeah, they get confusing sometimes, too. Okay. So all I did was cut, did my corners, and then added my score lines. So we're just going to glue these two pieces together. Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one. You should have seen my desk before I came in to clean for tonight. Oh my goodness. It was crazy messy. Okay, so now that's finished. We have all our pieces. I'm gonna let that dry for a minute. Let's pull in our box. Now we have our 2 layers. These 2 layers we're actually, yes, we're going to glue together. I'll move that over a bit. So these we will glue together. Make sure it's on there even. And then we'll grab our dimensionals and we will add our dimensionals. Now remember, the magnet's going to be right about here. So I'm just going to put on enough that I know it's really going to stick well. Okay. You're very messy, Karen. So am I. Someday I'll have to take a picture of my desk when I'm creating during the day. Oh my goodness, it's terrible. You should see my floor right now. I threw all my scraps on the floor. I have to bring the vacuum in here. It's horrible. But today was a busy day, so... Okay, so I'm just going to line this up, making sure that I have enough space. And I'm just going to lay this down like this. Make sure I have even spacing all the way around, and I don't. So when you're doing this, make sure you don't press down on your dimensionals really hard. Just line it up. Make sure you have your space right, and then push down on your dimensionals. Okay, so now that magnet is right underneath that paper, and we're going to take our birthday cake, find where it is, get that. I want to just make sure this birthday cake is actually not even. Okay, get it laying down, and then add your glue, and then make sure your lid is on straight, that this top piece is level. And while that's drying, I'm just going to stick on. That's good. And we're going to let that dry for a second. So while we're waiting, let's just tie the bow for the front. Oops, quick and easy. I knocked it. It looks like it's still straight. Okay. Tie our bow. Yep, me too, Margaret. I was busy in here today and I didn't vacuum it. I was going to vacuum it before I went live. Not that you guys can see it, but I don't know. I like to start crafting when everything is neat and cleaned and straightened. Like I had a big bag of garbage because I've been getting rid of scraps and trying to clean the room up, and I never did get in here with the vacuum though. Oh well. Tomorrow. Okay, so there's our little bow. So now we have all our pieces ready to go. This should be, I think it should be dry now. Tombow glue dries pretty well. So we're going to grab our little strap, or whatever we want to call it, and we're actually just going to glue this down. And I just want to make sure that there's enough glue. And we're just going to slide it right down. I'll use this little box as my guide. I'm just going to open that up so I can push down on this a little. Make sure it's really glued. Because you got to remember, this is popped up, so you really don't have anything to push down on. Okay. We're going to get our little puffin. We're going to pop him up. Now, I didn't decorate any envelopes. I should have, I'm just going to stand up so I can get this on straight. Let's move it down here. That's crooked as can be. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, the envelopes. I was going to decorate the envelopes, but I just didn't get there today. But you can fit the envelopes in here with the cards. Just straighten up that ribbon. Pull it through a little. Let's clip off the tails. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So there's the front of the box. I'm going to grab the tags and the cards. So we're just going to add our cards to the inside of this box. That's 2. And there's plenty of room. You can get probably 1 more plus your envelopes. And then we'll slip in our little tags. Just like that. Fold the ribbons over. And there you go. Quick and easy little gift. Be great for as a thank you or a birthday present for your mailman or garbage man, your neighbor. And there we go. If you place an order by Monday for $35, I'll send you the make and takes for a card, the tags, and the box, and one of those swag bags that has one of these awesome eraser in it. So ladies, have a great night. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you soon. I'll be back tomorrow with goodness knows, I don't know what I'm going to be making tomorrow. Maybe I'll use these little guys again as we await the arrival of the new catalog. So have a great night. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Karen. Yeah, they are really good. I'm going to have to find some new things to put in it, though. Night, Margaret. I'll see everybody soon. Night, Dew. Bye-bye.